The news headlines. On Gold FM.
Podi Lassie extradited to Sri Lanka. Public Finance Committee slams central bank over inflation target. Rating agency raises red flag over risks in dollar-denominated local bonds. In the news overseas, Pakistan declares war on Taliban.
The top story on Gold FM.
The alleged organised criminal Janit Madhushankar, alias Podi Lassie, arrived at the Galle District Crime Division this morning following his extradition from India. A special CID team escorted the high-profile suspect from Mumbai to Colombo at dawn. Authorities produced the suspect before the Balapitiya Magistrates Court this afternoon to secure detention orders for extensive questioning regarding a series of murders and large-scale narcotics trafficking. The suspect fled to India in late 2024 while on bail and under a court-imposed travel ban. Indian authorities apprehended him in Mumbai on the 16th of January after he violated his release conditions. Criminal records link Madhushankar to the retaliatory murder of former Rathagama Pradesh Sabha chairman Manoj Mendis following the 2015 killing of the suspect's father. He allegedly led the most active underworld syndicate in the southern province, responsible for the Kuligoda triple murder and numerous other fatalities. The suspect also faces charges for threatening the Secretary of Defense and the Commissioner General of Prisons. While previously arrested in 2017 for heroin possession, he received bail in December 2024 before fleeing the country by sea. Meanwhile, a suspected gunman arrested for the double murder of a lawyer and his wife in Akuregoda confessed to killing approximately 48 individuals across 14 separate shooting incidents. The suspect informed police that he operated primarily in the southern province under the direct orders of alleged organized criminal Karandeni Sudha. The investigation revealed that the suspect fled to Monaragala after receiving a payment of 200,000 rupees in Malabar following the Akuregoda attack. He reportedly used public transport and the Southern Expressway to evade capture before being picked up by a suspected associate of the late alleged criminal Angoda Loka. This suspected associate, known as Angoda Kalum, allegedly received instructions from a contact in Dubai to harbour the gunman in a rented house in Nakkala. The initial attack occurred in a supermarket car park situated just 600 meters from the Tri-Forces headquarters.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
Police intend to seek a 90-day detention order under the Prevention of Terrorism Act to further question Major General Suresh Saleh regarding the Easter Sunday terror attacks. The former State Intelligence Service Director was arrested in Paliagoda on Wednesday and is currently undergoing an initial 72-hour interrogation period. Saleh served as an embassy official in Malaysia during the 2019 bombings before his later appointment as intelligence chief under the Gotabaya Rajapaksa administration. The investigation follows a controversial Channel 4 documentary alleging direct links between Saleh and the coordinated attacks, which prompted a formal complaint by Father Rohan Silva of the Centre for Society and Religion. Although the Criminal Investigation Department confirmed active probes into his conduct as early as November 2024, Saleh remained in his post until his retirement in October of the same year following the change in government. Meanwhile, in a separate development, representatives of the National Media Forum have voiced strong opposition to the proposed Protection of the State from Terrorism Bill during a press conference in Colombo. The forum alleges the draft legislation imposes severe restrictions on freedom of expression and serves as a tool for state suppression. Members stated they cannot agree to any act designed to stifle public discourse under the guise of national security. A dramatic session of the Public Finance Committee revealed a startling disconnect at the heart of Sri Lanka's economic recovery. In a heated confrontation, lawmakers accused central bank officials of steering the national economy blindfolded by using consumption data from 2019, a world before the pandemic and the subsequent economic collapse. The hearing took a sharp turn when the committee chair, Dr. Harsha De Silva, discovered that the central bank's basket for calculating inflation is 7 years out of date. The chair's disbelief turns into a stern lecture on the sad state of affairs regarding the bank's reliance on the Department of Census and Statistics without doing its own legwork.
HIS, when was the last HIS?
2019.
Isn't it worthwhile for you to do something on your own? But it is a very sad state of affairs here. To this committee, you are telling me that you are using data from 7 years ago. I am not willing to accept it, doctor.
The committee moves from data to consequences. MP Ravi Karunanayake argues that the central bank's wrong data has led to predatory interest rates that are killing the SME sector, along with many other consequences.
The businesses all are relying on this because we are looking at interest rates, creating an anti-inflationary approach. But we are looking, as I said, to look at this as long-term resource allocation for investments we coming in, where the interest rate is a key factor.
Long-term resource allocation is not a function of the central bank. I must tell you, that's
Yeah,
not
but
objective.
interest rates have been determined by you all now.
We
So
determine.
if you all don't, if
we
you all
determine
basically give a high
inflation.
interest rate, and if you in that case, who's going to grow this country?
No, this is the right interest rates based on the multiple structure.
Yeah, that is your
And
perspective.
economy is growing right, credit is growing right, demand is taking place at the right balance. So I don't see any problem with the current interest rate structure.
Okay,
That is
there's-
the
there's-
appropriate interest rate structure based on from the demand side. That's exactly what we see. That we can see clearly the indicators of demand side is pretty much in line and consistent with our multiple stance and the interest structure.
Yeah, but then the interest rate, what we see obviously is expectation of inflation and the real interest rate. No, if you really look at our competitor countries, Governor, in real interest rates are less than half of ours. Except for India, like I said, everybody else is below 2%.
Comparisons were also drawn between Sri Lanka's target inflation and that of regional neighbors too.
India is like 2.5%. We are 5.5%. Even if you look at expectation of inflation of 3% for the next, or 3.5% for the next foreseeable future 3-4 quarters, right? So if you're looking at being competitive in the region, I mean, is 6% real interest rate high or not? I think it's a valid question from our point of view.
In the final, most damning exchange, the committee asks a question. Did the central bank ever tell the government or the parliament that the advice was based on antiquated data? The silence that follows suggests a massive gap in accountability.
So the revelation by you, has it not been told that we are in an antiquated 219 information that we are living on? That's what I'm asking. Has been communicated? Yes.
Honourable Member, as you said, this is a fundamental thing, and I think the understanding all around the world is every 5 years at least this has to be done. The consumption basket has to be updated. So that's general knowledge, Honourable Member, and
No, it's
I
not
think
the
there
general
is no
knowledge. I
need
totally
for.
agree. But I'm asking whether it has been communicated. That is what will finally come back and say, nobody told us. That's the way things are going on. That's why I like to know, when you are revealed like this, whether it has been communicated. Obviously it hasn't, but it has got revealed now.
Even though allowing exporters to invest in domestic dollar-denominated bonds is a welcome move, it is essential to ensure that risks associated with it are averted. This is according to the Lanka Ratings Agency. In October last year, the government, following a cabinet decision, issued domestic debt instruments denominated in foreign currency, targeting local commercial banks. However, the decision announced by the cabinet spokesperson on Tuesday approved submitting to Parliament new rules allowing exporters to invest in these domestic dollar-denominated bonds. Speaking to us, Vidula Sekara, financial analyst of the ratings agency, first commented on the benefits of this measure as far as the economy is concerned.
The framework helps to strengthen foreign currency liquidity within the country by allowing these exporters to invest repatriated proceeds into these domestic dollar bonds. So the government can mobilize dollars already circulating domestically rather than depending solely on external borrowing. In another way, this supports gross official reserves and also reduces short-term refinancing pressures. It also helps to deepen the domestic capital market by creating structured dollar-denominated investment avenue, which had been limited following the sovereign default. For commercial banks, the bond provides a sovereign-backed channel to deploy excess foreign currency balances at yields in the range of 8.5 to 9, improving asset returns while also keeping their liquidity within the domestic system. So by reducing the need for immediate forced conversion of export proceeds into local currency, the framework may help to moderate short-term volatility in the foreign exchange market.
Wanigasekara is also of the view that there are risks associated with it.
The issuance of domestic dollar bonds increases the government's domestic foreign currency liabilities. Although this reduces the exposure to external markets, it concentrates dollar risk within the local financial system. If the local currency depreciates, the fiscal burden of servicing and redeeming these bonds rises in local currency terms. So there is also potential crowding out effect. Directly foreign currency into government bonds may reduce the availability of USD financing for private sector imports, trade finance and also productive investments. Since these instruments are held domestically, any future sovereign stress would directly affect banks and exporters, increasing the systematic concentration of sovereign risk.
As far as risk aversion is concerned, this is what he had to say.
This issuance must be kept within clearly defined limits. Domestic dollar bonds should function as liquidity management instrument and not a substitute for structural borrowing. So setting a transparent ceiling aligned with these debt targets ensures that domestic foreign currency liabilities do not accumulate to levels that increase fiscal vulnerability, especially in the event of an exchange rate depreciation. Now, this exchange rate risk must be prudently managed because maintaining adequate reserves and also helping these exporters to generate and increase their global competitiveness to turn this current account deficit into a surplus will greatly help to strengthen the exchange rate rather than depreciate it, and also to manage this inflation risk mainly coming from this exchange rate depreciation. So this government must particularly give more emphasis on managing the exchange rate risk so that the rupee value of the issued dollar bonds do not increase to a level where the government can't service them without any problem. And also the government should give more emphasis on not increasing its exposure more towards the banking system and especially towards exporters, because these are key entities that will help managing and increasing economic growth.
Now for some news in brief.
The Lalit Atulat Mudali Mahapula Higher Education Scholarship Trust Fund initiated a special relief program for university students impacted by Cyclone Ditwa.
The business news on Gold FM.
Meta Platforms secured a multi-billion-dollar agreement to rent artificial intelligence chips from Google for the development of new AI models. The information reported the multi-year deal yesterday, citing sources involved in the negotiations between the two technology giants. This massive investment reflects the current industry trend as companies spend billions on specialized hardware and infrastructure to meet rising global demand.
International news on Gold FM.
Pakistan bombed Taliban targets in Kabul, Kandahar and Paktia overnight, using air and ground strikes on posts, HQs and depots. Defence Minister Khawaja Muhammad Asif declared open war, saying, quote, "Our cup of patience has overflowed," unquote, amid border dispute over militants. Both sides reported heavy losses with conflicting figures. The Taliban denied harboring militants, and Pakistan called it a response to unprovoked attacks. Videos showed explosions, smoke in Kabul, and fires. Strikes risked protracted conflict along the 2,600-kilometer frontier. Witnesses heard jets and ambulance sirens in Kabul.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
ABC medical drama Grey's Anatomy aired a special video montage to remember former cast member Eric Dane following his death at age 53. The tribute appeared at the conclusion of the first episode since the actor's passing on the 19th of February. Set to a haunting ballad, the reel featured iconic moments of Dane as the character Mark Sloan, also known as McSteamy.
Sports news on Gold FM.
England takes on New Zealand tonight at 7 p.m. at the R. Premadasa Stadium for the T20 World Cup Super 8's Group 2. Semi-qualified England eyes momentum boost ahead of knockouts following wins against Sri Lanka and Pakistan. New Zealand faces do-or-die pressure to win for a semi-final certainty. Defeat plus Pakistan's victory over Sri Lanka tomorrow could hand Pakistan the spot via superior net run rate. That's it for the news. I'm Atik Rumi. Have a great day.